I am talking to Jonathan Ortmans of the Kaufman Foundation, legendary for promoting entrepreneurship worldwide. Who was Mr. Kaufman?
Mr. Kaufman was a poor farm boy made good, as we say in America. He was a man who grew up in rural Missouri in the United States, and he became a successful salesman with pharmaceutical products and went on to create his own labs called Marion Labs. And he was very successful, and he is one of the rare entrepreneurs that used his foundation that he created to help other entrepreneurs succeed. He wanted people to be able to do the same journey he did, to be able to start with nothing and through their hard work and ingenuity create jobs and become what he was for Kansas City was a sort of, I won't call him a founding father, but he's definitely in the hearts of minds of many Kansans and Missourians who live in Kansas City, because he did things like, if people couldn't afford it, he'd pay their utility bills in the winter. He built the baseball stadium.
So he was bigger than life in that city.
He was a big...
And now he's bigger than life because he left a legacy which has as a goal to promote entrepreneurship all over the world. Huh? Because I've heard students who love to go there.
Well, that is true. There are a lot of people that go to the Kaufman Foundation. His vision was that I think he wanted more people to be able to control their own destiny. And entrepreneurship education was one of the ways they could do that. And so the primary focus of the foundation is in the United States in really understanding what is a little studied component of the relationship between economics and economic growth and job creation. So the foundation focuses a lot on that, and then focuses a lot on education and how do we help, either through experiential programs or through more formal things on campus. How do we help prepare people better for that kind of career? Where
and what in the research you've done? What is the relationship between a high level of entrepreneurship and a systemic growth?
Well, certainly there's many data points. I mean, one of the most popular ones we point to is that all of the net new jobs over the past 25 years have come from firms less than 5 years old. So if you look at job growth, the dominant creator of jobs are these new and young firms. Generally speaking, larger firms tend to sort of shed jobs over time. And it's these new and young firms that also breathe the dynamism into the older firms. But I think that perhaps the more important thing is that as a result of creating wealth and of creating employment, they are the primary drivers of economic growth. And up until recently, they've been recognized, they've been considered to be important.
Fashionable.
But they've been what we call the side ring of the circus. They haven't been seen as being the primary engine. And I think that's one of the things that the Kaufman Foundation's research is guiding a lot of thinkers towards, is that we need to shift the entrepreneurs to the center of the story. And President Obama has done this too this last year, where he's actually made an effort in a very difficult political climate to introduce legislation and pass legislation that helps new and young firms, in addition to the more common stuff of helping small business.
One other thing I thought was interesting, you said there's no relationship between how much money a new firm receives and the success rate.
Well, I think there is a relationship. All I'm saying is that the quest for either raising or giving up equity, through giving up equity, generating as much cash as possible, I think has been perceived of, the more money I get, the more likely it is my idea is valid and it will succeed. And I think oversimplifying, what we're really saying is that sometimes too much money can be harm. You need a little money, but you need to concentrate the real energy on not raising money and writing business plans, but the energy needs to be posed on testing and validating your idea and going through the iterative process of getting your formula right.
before you explode into large amount of countries and larger scale.
Yes, but perhaps more importantly, before you find that you can't afford to fail, and you hang on to the idea in its initial form, because you're so deep into it, you can reform the idea, change the team, or indeed, frankly, put it aside for a while and move on to something else. So I think you want to be able to afford to feel that it's expendable to some degree, or at least primary components of it are expendable.
You were here guest of Get in the Ring, the international competition. What was your impression of the event?
Phenomenal. I don't like to judge things based upon the packaging, but I think we have been guilty, I think, of a society of not putting entrepreneurs in the same position as we put our football stars and our rock stars. And so I think the idea of doing this in a way where there's some drama, there's some music, there's someone like you that walks down here like they're walking down the aisle because you want to say my product's so valuable for someone that wants to do wedding and wants to crowdsource photographs with the participants of that wedding. I think this adds the excitement and the drama to it. And it starts to tell us that the entrepreneurs who are taking the risk, who are working and bootstrapping ideas and birthing the new, are much more important than a popular star on a television show. I think is a healthy step for us to take. And it's great here in the Netherlands, because in the Netherlands what we're seeing is that it's done in a little bit more of a grand style. We do it in a very kind of like we say in England, on the smell of an oil rag. A lot of the events we do around the world are just, we can say focused on the content. And I think that's probably the most important thing. But it's great to see the Netherlands show that, by the way, we can have this done in a way that would make even the organizer of the best fashion show in New York impressed.
Thank you very much.